At first glance, it may seem like your typical blimp, but the Airlander is so much more than that. Developed by Hybrid Air Vehicles, or HAV, the Airlander is set to turn the aircraft industry on its head. What makes Airlander different from other traditional aircrafts? Well, the Airlander is a vehicle that uses a mix of old and new technology, taking things from current aircrafts and upgrading them to better fit our modern needs. For example, the hull is helium-filled, much like a blimp, but more advanced due to the high-strength material the hull is made of. You will also find ballonets inside of the hull that help the Airlander maintain its internal pressure throughout the flight. This helps because as the aircraft either changes altitudes or enters a location with a new temperature, the air pressure will begin to change, and without those ballonets, that could mean certain disaster for everybody on board. However, as advanced as the Airlander is, accidents always happen. That's why there's an automatic pressure management system directly installed in the aircraft. This is in place in case of things like a tear in the hull or a helium leak. If those events do occur, the pressure management system will kick in, allowing the Airlander to safely return to base for repairs. Luckily, helium leaks out at an incredibly slow pace, so this gives the crew plenty of time to take the passengers back to safety. But what exactly is the Airlander powered by? Stay tuned to find out. So, by now you know that the Airlander uses a helium-filled hull to stay afloat. But what really powers this thing? Well, 4 combustion engines. But the interesting thing is that during the flight, only 2 engines are kept on. The remaining 2 are kept in case a backup is needed. They only use 2 engines to reduce the amount of fuel burn that's used. Why? Well, keep watching the video. We'll be going over all the reasons why the Airlander is great for the environment later in the video. So, is the Airlander ready to hit the market? The short answer is no, but HAV is working incredibly hard to change that, and they've been very successful with the few flight tests that they've already held. In fact, the Airlander has actually earned a score of 7 in the Technology Readiness Level category. It's currently flown 7 successful flights, each one ending with HAV finding new ways to tweak its inner workings and make it all that much better. In fact, they've made over 500 adjustments to the Airlander during the course of these flight tests. Not to mention the hundreds of hours they've completed just flying the aircraft through a simulation. Which is all really crucial because one of the functions of the Airlander is for defense purposes. With hopes that the military will make use of the Airlander, it may end up being used to perform tasks like airborne data collection, transporting communication systems, and essentially act as a satellite for the military forces. This would be groundbreaking for military technology, considering that the Airlander would be the first aircraft to be able to stay airborne for up to 5 days straight without needing to come down to refuel. We have to ask, do you think you would ride in an Airlander? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure to leave us a like and of course subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any more awesome content like this. Now let's get back to the video. One of the major reasons for creating a vehicle such as this is because of the environment. Traditional aircrafts aren't exactly eco-friendly, and air travel is so incredibly common that there are thousands of planes in the sky at any given moment. Take a moment to think about how much of a toll that'll have on our Earth when those carbon emissions are added up. The goal of the Airlander is to have absolutely no carbon emissions at all during travel. HAV actually estimates that they'll be reducing carbon emissions by 75% by the time the Airlander takes over for traditional airplanes. This could do wonders for not only the environment but for operating costs as well. But you may be wondering, what is it like to actually fly in one of these things? And what kind of services will they offer once it's on the market? We have the answers for you, just keep watching to find out. If you thought the first class on an airplane was luxurious, then you're really in for a treat when you find out just what the Airlander has to offer. You'll no longer be cramped in tiny seats, but instead get to experience spacious rooms that can seat up to 90 people at once. The layout is perfect for just about anything you want to do mid-flight, like sightseeing or relaxing with your friends over dinner. It may seem like too much, but HAV designed the spaciousness of the Airlander like this for a good reason. It's because the Airlander won't just be used to get from point A to point B. No, the Airlander will act like a cruise ship in the sky. And this makes sense too. The top speeds of the Airlander will only reach 80 miles per hour. That majorly pales in comparison to the average speed of an airplane, which is over 800 miles per hour. So if you're someone who prefers things a little more leisurely and likes to take your time, the Airlander may be just for you. Traveling the world and seeing everything it has to offer will soon be an easy feat with the Airlander. For over 72 hours, you and your friends will get to travel 2,000 miles across the globe and have the adventure of a lifetime. While on board, you'll be treated to such amenities like dining services, hospitality services, even on-flight entertainment. Of course, there will be built-in Wi-Fi and power outlets so you can charge up your devices and capture the memories of these amazing trips as you float around the world. One of the most groundbreaking features of the Airlander is that since it does not take off and land like a typical airplane, the pilot can land the aircraft on quite literally any flat surface. From pavement to ice to even water, the Airlander can handle it. Think about how this will change the way we travel. Soon we'll be able to reach places that don't have accessible airports, like the North Pole or the middle of the ocean. Nothing is off limits with the Airlander. But now you're probably thinking, when can I get on one of these? Well, it may not be for a while. How long? Keep watching to see. As you all know, traditional airplanes are still dominating our airports, and it looks like that may be the norm for some years to come. You see, HAV doesn't predict the actual production of the Airlander will start until 2025. And it won't be until 2030 that they run completely on electric power sources. Of course, these are only predictions, but it's safe to say that we probably won't be catching a ride or drastically changing carbon emissions anytime soon. Although we still have some time to wait until the Airlander is ready for use, that hasn't stopped certain airlines from pre-ordering the aircrafts. One in particular is Air Nostrum, an airline based out of Spain. Reports say that Air Nostrum has currently placed an order for 10 Airlanders, and they're expected to receive their delivery in just 3 years, in 2026. A major part of this deal has been figuring out what exact routes across Spain the Airlanders would take once Air Nostrum receives them. Will Air Nostrum opt to use them for luxury cruise-like purposes, or will the Airlanders help people get from city to city in an affordable manner? Time will soon tell. One thing is for certain, and that's Air Nostrum stands by their decision to purchase the Airlanders 100%. The president of Air Nostrum, Carlos Bertomeu, has said that Airlanders will not only help the airline, but all of the European Union. HAV predicts that within a decade, Airlanders will cut down over 55% of carbon emissions in our air. Air Nostrum believes that this deal is just them doing their part to help the environment, and we can't say we disagree. He was quoted saying this directly. The Airlander 10 will drastically reduce emissions, and for that reason, we've made this agreement with HAV. Sustainability is already a non-negotiable fact in the daily operations of commercial aviation. Agreements such as these are a very effective way to reach the decarbonisation targets contemplated in the Fit for 55 legislation initiative. Bertomeu wasn't the only one who felt this way. The CEO of HAV, Tom Gundy, also had this to say regarding Spain's deal. As countries like France, Denmark, Norway, Spain, and the UK begin to put in place ambitious mandates for the decarbonisation of domestic and short-haul flight, Hybrid Air Vehicles and Air Nostrum Group are demonstrating how we can get there, and get there soon. Airlander is designed to deliver a better future for sustainable aviation services, enable new transport networks, and provide rapid growth options for our customers. This order from Air Nostrum is just the beginning for HAV and the Airlander. They're currently preparing to enter the production phase, which is not only good news for aircraft lovers and environmentalists, but the citizens of the UK will also benefit from this decision. When HAV begins to build the Airlanders, they're estimated to create over 16,000 jobs for those in Yorkshire, in the United Kingdom, and the surrounding areas. We're eager to see just what effect that has on the local economy there, and if there will be more Airlander production sites popping up around the world as they begin to grow in popularity.